The Awakening of Truf. Chapter 1. Amma, the breath before words, before thought, before language. At the edge of the beginning, the wind hummed lullabies through stone corridors. Above, twin moons circled one another, moving in opposite directions. A celestial dance only the old gods remembered. A newborn lay swaddled in linen spun from desert reeds, resting in a cradle carved from a fallen star. The heavens above bent slightly, constellations whispering sigils no priest could read. This was Truf, born on the 13th of 4th month in the hour before the sun dared rise. Time itself slowed for his first breath. A figure approached, neither god nor man, but something older. Something between. Their name was Xianu, life from the sky. They had waited more than time for this moment. Kneeling by the cradle, Xianu did not greet. They declared, Amma. Truf blinked, his fingers curled. He did not understand the word. He felt it. Xianu placed a hand upon the infant's chest. Amma is not just your mother. It is the mother. Of sky, of soil, of silence, of time. Say it. Truf squirmed, then whispered with instinct, Amma. The stars paused in their orbits. A pulse spread across the land. Energy, not sound. Amma is the sound the gods made when they created the world. A is water. Ma is earth. Together they form the cradle of all life. The wind shifted. Leaves turned skyward. Far off, a river stirred from slumber. Xianu whispered, to Truf and to you. This is how your story begins, not with breath, but with meaning. Amma is not just a word, it is the memory of being held. And the child slept, his first word etched not in mind, but in soul. The word had been spoken, the code unlocked. Chapter 2, Z, Breath of the Gods. 1 week had passed. The desert slept. The stars held their breath. Truf lay beneath the open sky. His cradle of stone now rested among obsidian spires, pulsing gently with wind. Xianu stood watch. Tonight, the ritual would begin. A small flame danced near Truf's hand, lit for the vigil. He reached for it, entranced. The flame flickered, teasing. Then, a flick, a lean too far. Xianu caught his hand, firm, not harsh. Do not touch the fire spirit. Their voice rolled like thunder over the sand. Fire is alive. The gods lit it to remind us of their breath. Truf began to cry, but no sound came. The air refused him. His chest tightened. Breathe, little one, Xianu whispered. Z. It wasn't a word. It was an entry. Z. He gasped, a full breath. The stars blinked. The flame bowed. Z is life. Not the kind you own. The kind you are. The proof something unseen moves within. A palm pressed to his chest. When Enki shaped the first man from clay, he whispered Z into its nostrils. That is how the gods made you, made us. And Truf's breath found rhythm. Speak Z to awaken your spirit. Speak it when afraid, when weak, when unsure. Let it fill your lungs, and your path will reappear. Lu, the remembering flesh. Moons passed. Truf crawled, curious, reaching into the world with sacred fingers. One morning as sunrise kissed the dunes, Xianu placed him beside a shallow pool formed by mountain tears. Truf looked in. Movement, a shape, himself. But he didn't know that word. Not yet. Xianu knelt beside him. They pointed, not just to Truf, but to the water, the light, the mind behind the eyes. You are Lu, flesh that holds memory, flesh that breathes the breath of gods, flesh that remembers. You are not the body, you are the knowing within it. Truf reached for the reflection. Ripples scattered his image. He looked up, confused. Xianu nodded. Even when the reflection disappears, Lu remains, because Lu remembers the word for breath, because Lu remembers the word for mother. A hand rested gently on Truf's head. You are Lu Xiam, a living soul, born of breath, carried by the mother. And Truf giggled, not from understanding, but from something deeper. He existed. Chapter 4, Utu, Light That Judges. Truf walked now. The cradle was gone. His feet touched sacred earth. The desert sun burned high above. Air bent in heat waves. Sand glittered with secrets. Truf pointed to his shadow and laughed. Then again, why did it follow? Why did it change? Zianu touched the ground. That is Utu. They pointed to the sun, not the shadow. Utu is the eye above, not just the sun, the judge of shadows. He sees truth in the bending of light. When men lie, Utu sees. Kings once feared him. He needed no throne, only sky. Utu gives warmth, yes, but also justice. He shines when we wish to hide. That's why he is God. Truf looked down, then up, his eyes squinted. Speak his name when you seek truth, not to summon him, but to remind yourself he is already watching. Chapter 5, Enki, the mind beneath the water. Night fell. For the first time, Truf dreamed. Rain traced forgotten symbols onto stone. Inside, he slept beneath a blanket woven from stars. Zianu whispered, "Tonight he enters the waters of Enki." Within the dream, Truf was no longer a child. He floated weightless through an ocean where light lived inside water. Shapes moved below, silent, ancient. A voice amused and eternal stirred the depths. Enki, the lord of earth and waters, the god who sees sideways. The voice entered him. Truf Luziama, you are of breath and flesh, but your mind, it is mine to open. Symbols danced before him, glyphs swimming like creatures. Numbers pulsed. Knowledge lived. I am the current beneath knowing. My word is not fire. It is flow. The wise don't speak to be heard. They speak to shape what listens. Truf awoke. Zianu held water from the sacred spring. Drink. Enki had spoken. He sipped and remembered a dream not yet dreamed. Chapter 6. Inanna, she who descends and rises. Dusk fell. The day's light faded into hush. Truf, older now, sat by the fire. Aware, still asking. Smoke curled toward the sky, then collapsed midair. Why does the smoke rise, then die? He asked. Zianu didn't answer right away. They stared into the flames, then into Truf. Because even light descends, and even the divine must lose itself to find itself. From beside them, they lifted a carved obsidian crown, heavy, sharp, beautiful. They placed it in Truf's hands. This belonged to Inanna, queen of heaven. She had everything, temples, lovers, armies, and still she went below. Truf's eyes widened. Why? Because she knew something was missing, herself. Zianu leaned closer, voice cloaked in firelight. She passed through 7 gates. At each, she removed a piece of power, her crown, her robe, her jewels, until she stood naked before her own shadow. And in that silence, she died. Truf stiffened. She didn't come back? Zianu nodded. She did, but not as she was. She returned with knowledge no god dared touch. Their eyes searched his. This is your path, too. To rise, you must be willing to descend. To gain the light, you must know you're dark. Truf clutched the crown. Inanna, he whispered. Zianu placed their hand over his. When you're ready, speak her name before every transformation. And remember, power isn't what you carry. It's what you're willing to lay down. The god who watches without speaking. Truf climbed alone. Zianu stayed behind. This lesson required silence. The wind howled, the sky sharpened. Each step grew heavier, not in muscle but in soul. At the top, nothing. No temple, no voice, no god. Just sky. He waited. Silence answered. Then came a presence. Not loud, not warm, just there. The sky felt full. Not with things, but with being. Z, Truf called. Inanna? Only wind. Finally, softly. The sky did not move, but something inside Truf did. He felt tiny, he felt infinite. A voice did not speak, but knowing did. I am not light. I am where light becomes possible. I am not voice. I am the space it echoes. I am sky before the word sky. I gave no commands. I allowed creation to exist. And the truth emerged. Not all gods act. Some simply allow. Truf closed his eyes. The wind paused, and he understood. Some truths do not come in sound, only stillness. Chapter 8, Ereshkigal, the face beneath your own. Truf woke in sweat. The air was still. Something had been watching, but not from above. He found Zianu in meditation. The fire was out, The moon had fled. She's near, Zianu said without looking. You felt her, didn't you? Truf nodded. Zianu opened their eyes aged not by time but by descent. She is not death. She is what you meet when you stop pretending, when the masks fall, the rituals, the names. From the ash they drew a circle, inside it a face, Truf's face. She holds the realm where lies decay, where ego dies screaming, where the soul stands naked. Truf trembled. Do not fear her, Zianu warned. She will not harm you. She will only show you what you are. Did Inanna escape her? Truf asked. Zianu shook their head. No, Inanna surrendered. That's how she rose. And then Zianu bowed. Not to the sky, not to the gods, to the ground. Even the divine kneels before Ereshkigal. She doesn't chase, she waits. Truf placed his hand on the ash-drawn face. Ereshkigal, he whispered, not in fear but reverence. From the depths of the earth, a subtle rumble answered. Not anger, patience. The queen below all things had heard him. Chapter 9, Ninmah, the womb of the blueprint. A stream whispered nearby. Truf sat molding mud into shapes, a face, a body. It collapsed. He tried again and again, each time better. Zianu finally spoke. That's how you were made. Truf paused. By who? By Ninmah, the lady of birth. They gathered dark, rich earth, held it gently. She mixed it with divine blood and Enki's sacred waters. She shaped the first Lu, not as a servant, as a solution. The gods were overwhelmed. Ninmah said, let us make beings who can hold both flesh and spirit. She gave us hands that grasp, eyes that remember. Zianu lifted Truf's latest figure. It wobbled. They blew into it. It trembled, then fell apart. Because form is not life. Breath gives form purpose. Ninmah gave the shape. Enki gave the breath. Together they created you. Truf looked at his hands. Not tools, legacy. You are not made of dust. You are made of intention. Chapter 10, Namtar, the tablet that watches back. A storm neared. Truf and Zianu took shelter in a black stone cave. The air tense, the moment final. Carvings lined the walls. Not decoration, records. Truf touched one. Who wrote this? Zianu's voice was low. Namtar, a god. No, a function, a force, the scribe of destiny. They placed a flat tablet before him. Smooth, reflective. Every choice becomes a groove. Every breath, every silence, every defiance. Truf's finger paused. So he controls my fate? Zianu shook their head. He doesn't write what will be. He writes what you do. A crack of lightning split the air. His name means destiny and plague, because truth spreads and cannot be stopped. If you change, the tablet changes, but nothing is erased. Zianu looked into Truf's eyes. Be mindful. Every act, every silence, he records but does not judge. Truf touched the blank slate, and for a moment, a symbol formed. His name, incomplete but beginning. Chapter 11, Gugalana, the wild bull of heaven. Dry land, still sky, an eclipse overhead. Zianu drew a wide circle in the dirt. Step in. Truf obeyed. The air shifted. The birds hushed. Then, tremor. A guttural snort cracked the sky. Something massive moved above, unseen. Zianu stood calm. Gugalana, the bull of heaven. Truf clutched his chest. His heart roared. He comes when balance breaks, when truth must tear through the lie. The clouds swirled. He was Inanna's weapon, not to destroy but to wake the land. Truf dropped to one knee. Why am I here? He gasped. Zianu's voice boomed. Because you have fire too. Because not all lessons are whispers. Some are rage. Suddenly a roar erupted, not from above. From within Truf he screamed, not in fear, in power. The earth shook. Then, silence. Zianu stepped into the circle. You faced the bull. Never unleash him without reason, but never lock him away out of fear. Chapter 12, Me, the powers that shape reality. A chamber beneath an ancient ziggurat. No fire, no sky, just light-filled glyphs etched into crystal walls. Truf ran his hand across one, his skin tingled. What is this place? Zianu answered. The house of Me. The laws that shape kings. Music, language, love, hate, death. Truf stared. Love is a law? Zianu nodded. Everything you feel builds upon these. They knelt. Before God's rule, the me ruled. Inanna once stole them from Enki, not out of greed, but because they belonged to existence. A wall glowed. Without me, love is chaos. Without me, war is random. Without me, peace is a lie. Truf touched it. It pulsed. Zianu smiled. You've touched them all your life. The me are not just powers. They are templates. And those who understand them shape the world. Chapter 13. Dumuzid, the shepherd who walks between worlds. Dusk. But this time, something had shifted. The world felt softer. Truf followed Zianu to a quiet hill blooming with wildflowers. At the top, a stone circle, empty. Why are we here? Zianu's voice softened. This is where Dumuzid stood when the gates opened. He was a shepherd, a king, a lover of Inanna. When she returned from the underworld, she had changed. And someone had to take her place. Truf's breath caught. He could have run. He didn't. He walked. Truf sat. He entered Ereshkigal's realm not as a prisoner, but as an offering. The wind stirred the flowers like memories, because some power is not in escape, it's in staying. Dumuzid became the first to return from death willingly, and because of him, the seasons were born. Is he gone? Truf asked. Zianu looked out. He returns every spring, every time someone chooses sacrifice with love. Not to pray, but to honor. He understood. Some doors do not open. They must be walked through.